Welcome to the Ringer Fantasy Football Show. My name is Danny Heifetz, and I'm joined by Danny Kelly and Craig Horlbeck. And today we are going through our quarterback tiers, our quarterback fears, sleepers, depending on how you feel about sleepers. Some people get really touchy about what constitutes a sleeper or whatever. But we're going to go through basically how we're going to think about the quarterback position this year. Because again, training camps are in full swing. Your group chats are probably waking up. And so people are figuring out when your drafts are. So it is time to start thinking about it. I think quarterback is, I think, the best entryway into looking at fantasy a lot of times, especially just the season in general, teams, everything. So we're going to go through all our quarterback thoughts, some dumb emails at the end, but actually some serious stuff up top. I'm sure everyone listening has heard about this by now. But so on Monday, a gunman killed 4 people in a building on Park Avenue in New York City that includes NFL headquarters, and he shot several people in the building's lobby. Investigators believe the shooter was trying to get to NFL headquarters inside the building, but accidentally entered the wrong set of elevator banks. And so the man had a note on him claiming he had CTE, including the phrase, quote, "study my brain, please, I'm sorry," end quote. The gunman never played professional football. He did play high school football. I know this is a weird thing to talk about at the top of a fantasy show, but frankly, we just didn't know how to talk about the NFL for like an hour plus and not talk about this. So obviously, absolutely horrific story. You read about the victims, it's just gut-wrenching. And so, you know, that's just a horrible thing. So we can move on. I have absolutely zero segue on how to go from that to like Malik Neighbors briefly left the Giants practice with some tweak in his leg. And it's like, I don't know. There's no good segue. But yeah, awful story. And now we'll talk about this fake football game that we play. And a really awkward, clunky transition. But yeah. So
with that said,
we can get to overall quarterback strategy for fantasy in 2025. I don't know about you guys. Just looking at quarterback this year, I actually have never felt stronger about what I want to do. I might be wrong, but I actually know every time I go into a draft, I know exactly what I want to accomplish. I don't know, Dika, do you feel that way?
Yeah, I mean, I think that for me, I have a specific strategy I'm going with this year, and that is, should I just say it now?
Reveal it. Let's
hold it.
I mean,
an unboxing right now.
It's very not novel, Craig. I want one of the top 4 guys, or I'm going to wait a really long time.
Give me one of them big ones.
Give me one of them big ones. Basically, the god tier of fantasy quarterbacks, I think I really want to kind of go for it. It's just, these are the types of guys that not only have a really high floor week in and week out, they're going to be really consistent. They're going to get you your 16, 17 points almost surely. And then they also have the upside because of the rushing to get you 22, 25, 30, sometimes even more points, depending on what they do. So there's Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Heifetz. If you have a different tier 1, let me know. But those guys, all 4 of those guys scored 100 plus points last year in rushing alone. They're the only quarterbacks, I think, in that stratosphere right now that we know of. Maybe someone will emerge this year that does end up rushing for. And these guys are basically like, the ceiling is 1,000 yards and or 10 rushing touchdowns. Realistic range of options for them. And then obviously all 4 of these guys are also good passers. So the God tier to me is very interesting. I feel like if you get one of those guys, even though it's expensive, it's just giving you such a massive advantage over your league mates every week.
Craig, is that how you feel? Do you want one of the top 4 guys?
This year, I think my answer is no. I have a different strategy. I think the last few years, it has been, you got to get one of the big 4. The big 4 used to be, you probably swapped Jaden Daniels out for Mahomes originally, maybe Burrow, but it was like kind of, the big 4 is what you wanted. I think quarterback is deeper than ever since we've been doing this show right now. And I actually feel more comfortable waiting on quarterback this year. I think because of the influx of talent that came in last year with those 6 rookies, 5 of which worked out, JJ McCarthy, TBD. And then the rookies the year before that also, it seems to be working out. I think they're outside of the Browns, the Giants, and the Saints. You could argue every other quarterback in the league could be a viable fantasy starter. I mean, like the worst guys in the league, the guys you are taking almost who aren't even getting drafted, are guys like Geno Smith and Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold was a top 10 quarterback last year. He isn't even getting drafted. So to me, there's also a lot more rushing influx right now as well. I mean, you already have the Jalen Hurts, the Josh Allen, the Lamar Jacksons. You have Kyler Murray, and you have now Justin Fields as a starter. You add in Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, who is a mid-tier rusher. You had Drake May, who is potentially flirting with being a top-tier rusher. I just think that the depth of the position from a skill standpoint is deeper than ever. And the rushing floor, adding Caleb Williams rushing possibilities, the rushing floor for a lot of guys, Brock Purdy rush is just a little higher than it's been. There are a lot of guys now that like kind of could get to 400 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns. And there are just a lot of quarterbacks I like. And so I actually think I'm not going to stress too much about needing Josh Allen this year if his price is super high, because I feel like I can cobble together some good options late in the draft.
So I'm going to cheat. I'm going to say I actually want to do what both of you are saying.
You're right in the middle.
I am in the middle, but ironically, like I'm not averaging. I'm not trying to meet in the middle. Like I'm saying Ricky Bobby. I want to either do what DK's saying, where I want to be one of the first people to get a quarterback, and I want to get one of the elite guys. And to be clear, those elite guys, as Craig mentioned, are we can go through them a little more specifically, but the top tier is Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts. Like those are the top 4 guys. I want one of them. And if I'm not getting one of them, I want to be the last person to get a quarterback, basically, like what Craig's saying. Because
that's essentially what I was saying too. First, early or late.
So yeah, and so I'm a big believer in the Ricky Bobby style quarterback this year. But overall, I agree with what Craig's saying too, because I want 2 quarterbacks. So one of them has to be able to run, but basically, I don't want a pocket passer this year because it's so. But to Craig's point, it's so deep because again, I don't want to pick on Baker Mayfield because Baker again is about as likable as it gets in the NFL. He's just a fun player to root for. But Baker Mayfield, I think, is an example of a quarterback who had never had 30 passing touchdowns in a year. And then last year he had 40. So maybe Baker does that again.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, last year, Baker, you could have gotten as like the 17th quarterback or whatever. And there's always a guy at the late that ends up going hot. But in a world, like I don't want to take Baker Mayfield 75th or whatever overall. When, as Craig pointed out, and you can rank these guys however you want, but if Drake May is the 14th quarterback, and Justin Herbert's the 15th quarterback, and Dak Prescott's the 16th quarterback, and CJ Stroud is the 17th quarterback, and Jordan Love is the 18th quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, whatever you think of him, maybe you don't like him, Trevor Lawrence is the 19th quarterback in fan. Like at that rate, I don't want to pay for a pocket passer. I'm only paying up if the guy runs or falls to me really late. And so the only people I want to pay up for are those top 4 people DK mentioned. And I think there's 2 kinds of leagues. I don't know the word for one, but basically, quote unquote, I hate the term sharper leagues, but ones where people basically think they're too good for quarterbacks or whatever, and leagues where people are going to be taking Breece Hall over Jalen Hurts. And I want Jalen Hurts instead of Breece Hall. And then there are leagues with your friends where Patrick Mahomes is like the 9th pick in the draft. You know what I mean? Like sometimes your friends are just like, well, I'm a Bills fan, and why? How could I go through the season without Josh Allen? I'm going to take him 8th. And you know what? That person probably makes the playoffs every year. And so if it's one of those leagues, I'm fine to not get one of the 4 quarterbacks and be last. But I am fine to reach for, quote unquote, Jalen Hurts this year. Like I feel so good about it.
Yeah. Hurts and Allen. So I was looking at the big 5 every year and how consistent they are. Because that's also something you want, right? Is like if you're going to spend a lot of money or an early draft pick on these guys. Josh Allen and Hurts are the only 2 quarterbacks to score more than 20 points per game in each of the last 4 seasons. Lamar has had seasons where he gets dinged up, he drops off. And then obviously Daniels is only 1 year into his career. His injury concerns, I don't know, I guess you could say are a little bit higher because of his frame. So if I did need to commit to any of the top tier, I think I would prioritize Josh Allen and Hurts for their consistency.
I agree. So Josh Allen is the most consistent fantasy football player of the 2020s. It's not close. If you just look since Josh Allen came online basically in 2020 and became the current version of Josh Allen, here's where he ranked end of season fantasy points among quarterbacks. First, second.
Yeah.
So that's pretty sick.
He's an alien. Yeah.
And the way we don't have to belabor the Josh Allen rating MVP is good. I will just lead on this. Josh Allen has more passing touchdowns in his career than Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen has more rushing touchdowns in his career than Saquon Barkley or Christian McCaffrey. So like that's what you're getting with Josh Allen.
Yeah.
My question for you guys is Lamar Jackson. So I mean, again, just going through the stat, 41 touchdowns and 4 picks for Lamar last year.
He averaged 3 points per game more than Josh Allen last year.
Yeah. We're picking nits, but I just wanted to ask Craig, you have Lamar Jackson first among quarterbacks. DK, you have Lamar third, which isn't that big of a difference. And yet I actually was curious, DK, why you have him third.
I mean, honestly, you could switch any of them and it wouldn't matter to me. They're all like the exact same tier, essentially. Like get whatever you want. Like I would say before last year, coming into last year, Lamar Jackson was a big target of mine because I felt like his reputation had slipped a little bit. There was like injury concerns. He was a little inconsistent, like the playoff failures, obviously like weighing on people's minds or whatever. But, he's still, to me, the prototype of this cheat code at quarterback where he's running a ton. He doesn't rush for a lot of touchdowns, but he's one of the best, if not the best, running quarterback in the NFL in terms of just running talent. So he feels, maybe it'll be different this year. I'm not quite sure, but he still feels like the guy that's sort of the value in this group, if there is such a thing, because I think people don't view him as... he's just not as sexy, I guess, as Josh Allen and Jaden Daniels, and then Jalen Hurts has.
I think Lamar is just as sexy. I think Lamar is.
Well, maybe not now. Maybe not now after last year, obviously, but that was how I felt going into last year, and it definitely kind of played out that way.
They're
you
all
could get
neck
him for
and
a
neck.
little bit less.
Yeah, and
Lamar's one for me just because I think I feel like he has the highest ceiling if you wanted to shoot for the stars. Like I think Lamar could. I mean, what he did last year, I guess, is that where he throws for 40 touchdowns and basically runs for 1,000 yards. But yeah. But they're literally all next to each other.
it's a good reminder of what we're talking about with tiers. And again, the reason we do this in tiers is because tiers is, I think, the way you should draft. Like we have our rankings out at fantasyfootball.theringer.com. You can go there for our new, our rankings got a facelift. You can check them out. They're updated. But basically, you want to have an idea of tiers, groupings of positions of guys that are similarly ranked so that when you're on the clock and it's tick, 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 and you're going to be up again in 5 spots, if there's one receiver left in a tier and 4 running backs, you should take the receiver because a similar running back will be available. Whereas vice versa, you take the running back, you probably won't get that receiver. So you want to, it's a decision-making framework. So when we're doing these tiers, broadly speaking, what we're saying is these groups of guys, maybe we have an opinion on how they're ranked, but if you rank them differently within the tier, we don't give a shit. I don't really care that DK has Lamar Jackson 3rd or Craig has him 1st. I have Lamar Jackson 2nd, Josh 1st, Jalen Hurts 3rd, Jaden Daniels 4th. I don't really care if you switch that to a random number generator, but those should be the first 4 guys. And I'd be mad if someone else was in that group. So I think that's broadly going to apply. And what we're going to do here is figure out what the tiers are and see if we disagree about the groupings themselves. One last thing I want to argue about for these guys. There's a statistical argument for having a great fantasy quarterback about predictability, Jalen Hurts, all these guys. I will just say overall, though, it is super underrated how awesome it is to have a sick fantasy quarterback. It is
like
awesome.
having 2 cocks.
It's like having 2 cocks. It really is. And because for so long it was like, well, you can't really predict year-to-year passing environments, so it's not really a plus expected value thing to have a late quarterback. And that was true. But now that guys like Josh Allen has more rushing touchdowns than Saquon in his career, that's the easiest thing there is to predict. You know what the easiest thing for football to predict? Jalen Hurts, who has 52 rushing touchdowns in his last 52 games that mattered. And the NFL's trying to ban a play because it works too well at the goal line. Right. It's the easiest thing in football. And so knowing that, it's an advantage. So mathematically it's caught up, but that's not the point. The point is, if you root, like me, for the New York Giants or the Cleveland Browns or the Indianapolis Colts or the New Orleans Saints, and you have to watch these shitty quarterbacks every week, the whole reason you play fantasy football is escapism from your own shitty team. And if you can sign up for 150 hours over the course of 17 Sundays and Lamar Jackson gets to be on your team, that's the whole reason we do this, is I want to escape my shitty team. And so I will just say, highly recommend having Josh Allen on your team or Lamar Jackson on your team or Jaden Daniels on your team if your team sucks. I can't, there is no way to quantify that, but it's the only thing that will help you.
The psychological feeling of having one of these guys too is so great because if you're actually watching the game that they're in, the final minute, they could score another 15 points. You know what I mean? Like the 2-minute drill, they're running around, they're scrambling, they could get a touchdown, they could go to overtime. You're like it just, you feel like you could be God. You the line from Wedding Crashers, they were looking at me like God. And you know what? I kind of felt like God. I felt like I did turn into God.
You basically just get to be a fan of one of the best teams in the NFL for the whole season.
Right.
Why would you not have Josh Allen be your quarterback the idea that you're you know what? No, I'd rather have Breece Hall on my fantasy team. No, you wouldn't.
There's so many other quarterbacks that you're just depending on game script or whatever, you're I'm fucked.
Yeah. Well, and it's
this guy's going to get me 5 points.
100%.
Or 12 points or whatever.
It's like the safest, warmest feeling you can have waking up Sunday morning being like, Josh Allen's playing the Panthers.
And I know this is dumb, and maybe this isn't the sharpest analysis, but there is something about the entire pregame package. Josh Allen's on the goddamn poster, and you're that's my guy.
You get all
it matters.
You get your quarterback is in like the most nationally televised games. You're getting Monday night, Sunday night. You're getting all that fun
points
stuff.
per commercial.
I understand that, like, you know what's fun? Winning's fun. But you know what? So we have our rankings. I made my rankings very specific. I have 21 guys that I would take above them. And then I listed those 4 quarterbacks, 22, 23, 24, 25. So like in our rankings, my only quibbles, we have Bucky Irving right in front of Josh Allen. I love Bucky Irving. No fucking way am I taking Bucky Irving before Josh. If they're both there, I'm like, I need Josh Allen on my team because I don't think I'm sacrificing that much because, again, he's probably going to be a top 2 quarterback. And also, it's just, I don't want to. Russell Wilson will be my only escape this year. So anyway, that's my rant. And the only other thing I want to say about that tier is just that I think Jalen Hurts is weirdly undervalued this year. I don't know why, but Jalen Hurts, that's probably the guy I'll end up with the most because there's just a MVP. Weird. Yeah. People are treating him like he's like the black sheep of this 4-person group.
What did he finish? First? Yeah, he had a good day though.
He had a good year though.
He hasn't.
But they win the Super Bowl. Yeah.
I know.
I think they're going to throw more. I think.
Yeah.
His rushing floor is just as high, even with Saquon. You also factor in like potentially you have Saquon taking a step back. And they literally ran the ball more than any team in years last year. We're leading in games historically last year in the second half. We're not throwing the ball. Like I think the passing ceiling for Jalen Hurts is way higher this year, and the rushing floor is just as stable.
Mm-hmm. Jalen Hurts hasn't had less than 13 rushing touchdowns in a season in 4 years.
Yeah.
The idea, again, there are players going ahead of him where I'm like, you can do that, but I will take Jalen Hurts. So.
Did you see the Sprite commercial with him?
No. Jalen Hurts?
He's in a new, he's like, I guess like the spokesperson for Sprite now. He's like in their new campaign. And you can tell they tried so hard to be like, all right, how do we make him interesting? How do we make
him out of his comfort zone here?
Interesting. And the whole like idea around the ad is like, he doesn't talk.
That's great.
And it's like, let your game speak for yourself.
We got to get Chris Ryan in on this, man. Get Chris Ryan to do the monster truck talk for Jalen Hurts. That's how the whole like metal draft started.
The tagline at the end is like, does Sprite make you a better football player? And he goes, no, but it tastes good.
It's pretty good, actually.
That's sick. The other thing about Jalen Hurts too is he's just total psycho like that. Like he just is so singularly focused. And he went to Michael
still
Jordan.
Live in like a 2-bed apartment?
I think so. He went to Michael Jordan for advice.
2-bed or 2-bedroom, Craig?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
It's a studio with 2 beds.
Yeah.
But so I don't know if this is true, but I believe that there's no confirmation Jalen Hurts has put on his Super Bowl ring. I don't know if he's opened it. Like they did photos with all the Eagles wearing it and he just held the box.
Well, and then in a presser, they asked him, they're like, why aren't you wearing your Super Bowl ring? And he was like, that was last year. I'm focused on this year.
I think that is so sick.
He's like some version. He's like he's the inverse of Russell Wilson, but also like just as annoying.
Yeah. Well, that's such a good call.
Like
he really
his whatever stoicism is like actually kind of corny.
He's like if Russell Wilson
when he's losing, it's corny. When he's winning, it's pretty fucking cool.
He's like if Russell Wilson had like swagger.
Yeah, it's like if Russell Wilson talked as much as everyone wishes Russell Wilson would talk. But I will. But again, Jalen Hurts. It's annoying when they're losing and you're like a football monk. But when they're winning, Jalen Hurts goes to Michael Jordan and it's like ask for advice, and he he doesn't tell stories. But Jalen Hurts, it seems like what Michael Jordan said was, "You're not defending shit. Like you're not the defending champs. You won the 2024 season. That happened." And it's 2025, but you're not defending anything. Like if you lose it doesn't matter. Like,
it's object permanence. It's season permanence.
Give me the guy who didn't put on the ring and has a play the NFL wants to ban. Anyway, I like Jalen.
I do look. While I agree with everything you're saying, Heifetz, about having a good quarterback and the security of that is better than any other feeling in fantasy. I 100% agree with all of that. However, this year I am tempted the most to not get a top 4 quarterback. And
totally get it.
If the price is a little bit high, like. Even those mid-tier guys that I know generally we don't, like that's always trickier going after the like Bo Nixes, the guys going in the middle. Even those, the Kyler Murrays, Bo Nixes, Patrick Mahomes, Brock Purdy, I am more willing to take those guys than I have been in a while.
That's totally fair. And again, no one has to take that advice. I think the simplest thing I'd say is if the quarterback's going in the second round, that's too rich for me. Like if you're using the 18th pick on Josh Allen, like that's the line for me. 25, 28, that's where I'm like, oh, just give me the quarterback. But you also, might win your league this year not doing that. So that's also the easy tier to talk about the top 4. Everyone else I think is where the meat is. So the next one, this is what I have as the next tier. At first I wrote down just Joe Burrow. And then I was like, screw it. And I put Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes in the same tier because I almost think that you're lying to yourself if you think Mahomes isn't in that tier with Burrow, where obviously Burrow is expected to be the best passing quarterback. And a purely statistical view of it, like Burrow is obviously expected to just be the most reliable pocket passer. But in my experience drafting in fantasy football, someone always just takes Mahomes so high that the idea that he wouldn't be taken around Burrow is like, that's not realistic to me. Maybe I'm wrong and maybe I'm overthinking it, but I could be talked out of it. But I think the tier is either just Joe Burrow or Burrow and Mahomes.
I don't think he should be in there. I don't have him in there. I have him in the next one. I have Burrow in a tier of his own because here's my question for you, DK. If you're staring there, if it's the 5th round, whatever it is, if Burrow and Mahomes are sitting there, is there any world in which you're taking Mahomes over Burrow?
No.
Yeah, I'm not either.
That's a fair point. I was kind of on Heifetz's side here, more like just aesthetically. It's like the tier is, pocket passers.
Like the 2 best pocket passers in the league. That
2
aren't
best
rushers.
Pocket passers who could throw 50 touchdowns. It wouldn't really shock you, right? But I think you're right, Craig. Like, I would definitely way rather have Burrow.
Yeah, I do think this is a great buy low Mahomes year. However, I still think that he should be at the tier below.
Okay.
So do you put Mahomes in his own career too then?
No. I think Mahomes is with a tier below, personally.
I'm fine with that because I originally had, and we have Burrow way higher too. So I just kind of looked at it and was like, am I lying to myself about how my draft will actually go? Someone's going to take him. But you're right. And again, Burrow led the NFL in pass attempts, pass completions, passing yards, passing touchdowns. Some idiots last year were worried about whether his wrist would be good. I don't know what those people were thinking, but
I look at Mahomes,
just
to linger on Mahomes for a minute here. The last 2 seasons, he's averaged 17 points per game.
Yeah, he hasn't been a top 10 quarterback each of the last 2 years.
But going before that, real quick, 24 points per game, 21 points per game, 25 points per game, 20 points per game, 26 points per game. That was the previous 5.
Yeah, you have a different situation, better offensive line. You have Tyreek Hill, you have prime Travis Kelce. The way they were defending the Chiefs was different back then. A lot has changed. And I think this year you would make the case that his targets are the best they've been in a while. However, we now might have a Rashee Rice suspension for 4 to 6 games. The offensive line is a question mark. And then you're looking at the last year of Travis Kelce, Xavier Worthy, there's not Marquise Brown. There's not as much going on. I like it, but I don't know if I love it.
Well, I'm torn. I don't know because, and again, I think Craig convinced me. I think Burrow should be his own tier, but I do think as we get to tier 3 here, and I have basically Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray for the Cardinals, Bo Nix for the Broncos, Justin Fields for the Jets.
I think this is correct.
Really
Mahomes.
Funny to have Patrick Mahomes in a tier with Justin Fields and anything, which is hilarious, other than Bears quarterbacks that should have been. But I will say about Mahomes, I think you're both right. You're right that Mahomes has not been as prolific of a passer. And the last couple of years, I mean, honestly, ever since defenses, we kept saying 2 high safeties, but where defenses really did is they just moved a run defender into the pass game. And ever since they did that and the Chiefs skimped at receiver and skipped at left tackle, Mahomes became like Alex Smith if he was cool. Like Alex Smith in his last season's Chiefs starter was pushing the ball significantly further downfield on average than Mahomes was the last few seasons. However, I think this could be one of the biggest developments of the year. I think there's a chance the Chiefs offense looks more like it did 5 years ago, since closest to having Tyreek Hill this season than they have since in the 3 years since they got rid of Tyreek Hill. For everything Craig just listed, basically, they have Josh Simmons, the rookie at Ohio State at left tackle. And I'm not saying, I think you should always be careful when people are saying.
The reports seem to be glowing about him.
That's the thing. Rookie coming off an injury, I'm a little dubious left tackle, but I'm but everyone's saying he's good. And I'm all right, I want to see it in a game. I don't love that. It's okay, cool. They just put on padded practices. Calm down. But the combo of more left tackle help, Jalen Moore that could compete with Juwan Taylor at right tackle, the offensive line should be improved, which is always in theory. But the combo of the receiver hit thing has been such a shoestring and bubble gum. We're just look at last year. Rashee Rice was supposed to be a huge part of the team, and Mahomes blew Rashee Rice's knee out in the first 3 or 4 weeks. Marquise Brown.
Mahomes cooked Rice.
Marquise Brown was supposed to be a first-round pick, was supposed to be a part of the Chiefs offense, and he hurt a shoulder immediately in training camp, barely practiced. Didn't play at all till December. Didn't even practice till December. So Xavier Worthy, a rookie, was just thrown into the fire. This season, I know Rashee Rice suspended, but he's able to practice with the team, which matters. Xavier Worthy is leveled up. And you have all these guys. And so Matt Nagy, who's the Chiefs offensive coordinator, said a couple months ago, he said this about the Super Bowl where, incredibly, my bet for Xavier Worthy to score 2 touchdowns cashed, which was really funny when it was like 40-0. But so Matt Nagy said at the end of the Eagles game, I know the score wasn't what we wanted, but there was a pretty good throw there at the end of the year, which he said a 50-yard touchdown to Xavier Worthy. And he said, I think we're excited to get back to some of that. And all that's to say, I think the Chiefs are fucking tired of this dink and dunk shit, and they want to go back to hitting dingers. And I think they're going to try to hit more dingers.
Socking some dingers.
Socking dingers.
Yeah.
And so if that means you can get Patrick Mahomes 75th in your draft and Xavier Worthy like 54th in your draft, I think there's a world where Worthy, Rice, Mahomes, like you just can stack the Chiefs this year, which is kind of crazy to think about. If they go back to that, that would be pretty fascinating.
I do agree that this is the right time to buy low on Mahomes. Everybody said it was last year because it was a down year in fantasy, but they also won the Super Bowl. This year, they're coming off a super embarrassing loss. It's Patrick Mahomes. I agree with you that the receiving corps should be the best it's been since Tyreek Hill left this year, even with the Rice suspension. And just like the fuck you Chiefs, the fuck you Mahomes narrative, I am fully buying in on. So yeah, I do agree with you, but I still think, you can say all that stuff. There's a lot riding on Xavier Worthy being great.
I like Worthy. I think I'm the only person in the world I think I'm actually realizing I'm like the biggest Xavier Worthy guy. And I don't think I intended to be, but I just look at rankings and I'm like, I'm definitely the highest on this person. I think Xavier Worthy is Kirkland for Deshaun Jackson. I think he's got the speed, the ball tracking, route running. Like again, Deshaun, it's not enough to be fast. You have to be able to track the ball like a center fielder. I think Xavier Worthy can do it. And I think I'm the only person who thinks that.
Well, he was out of bounds for half his catches last year, so he needs to be a little bit better at that.
Well, here you go.
Get him a warning track.
There we go. We're going to get him a warning track.
Like center fielder.
You know that Xavier Worthy, despite Rashee Rice leaving in week 4, Xavier Worthy never had more than 80 receiving yards in a game last year in a regular season.
No, but once you include the playoffs. But here's the thing. It's his rookie year.
He did it once in the playoffs.
But the same thing happened with Rashee Rice. Because Rashee Rice, look at Rashee Rice's rookie year before Thanksgiving. He didn't do shit. Everything happened after Thanksgiving. Like you have to get, like Matt, I mean, honestly, if you want to have a worthy conversation, basically we could do that on the receivers episode. But in short, Matt Nagy talked about this where last year, Xavier Worthy, you're not seeing an offense. You're just trying to like get the snap counts right. And like, you're just, what route do I run? What do these words mean? And he's like, Xavier's in 201 now where he's understands seeing defenses, seeing coverages. And then the third level is, can you do it can you see what Pat sees? That's the next thing he's working, which is a huge jump. That's where Rashee Rice was last year. So anyway, I'm a big believer in him.
But you have to combine that with Rashee Rice. Let's say he comes back week 4, 5, 6, whatever. Like it will be Rashee Rice. It will be a healthy Marquise Brown and Xavier Worthy. Last year it was no Marquise Brown, no Rashee Rice.
Yeah, but he's a rookie. I mean, again, but Xavier Worthy is going around like Sam Laporta.
That kind of feels right
Smith.
to me.
I like Xavier Worthy. But anyway, any other guys in this tier you guys want to talk about? DK, we have the other guys in this tier: Mahomes, Kyler Murray, Bo Nix, Justin Fields.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kyler Murray to me is a tough one to evaluate because I think he has the skill set, and I don't know about talent, but he has the skill set to be in that top tier. However,
what is the difference to you between talent and skill set?
I think, okay, that's a good question. Actually, I don't know. I would say Kyler is just much more inconsistent. I don't know. Like, I don't think he's as good of a pocket passer as any of the other guys in that top tier. Or maybe he'd be like right there with Hurts. But in theory, so like theoretically, I think he has the speed, explosiveness. And when I say skill set, I mean like he could run a lot.
He's too short to be a conventional pocket passer, it seems, like Russell Wilson. Like he can't necessarily drop back and play from an offense like he's 6'5".
Yeah.
But he's a 99th percentile scrambler arm talent.
I think it's tough because I feel like if he wanted to, he could be in that top tier of fantasy quarterbacks if he wanted to. But he continually, every offseason, talks about how he doesn't want to run. And he gets hurt.
Running too.
And he gets hurt a lot. So,
well, and he also was in that, like 2021, he was the QB4. 2022 he was the QB7.
Yeah.
So
So
he tore his AC, and then he tore his.
So I'm talking theoretically.
So not ACL, just a. Oh yeah, it was an ACL.
ACL
tear. Yeah.
Theoretically, this year I think he could leapfrog Burrow and be in that top tier of like the quote unquote dual threat quarterbacks, guys that can rush for either 1,000 yards or 10 plus touchdowns or both. But he's probably not gonna. Would be kind of like how I see it. You know what I mean? Like I don't trust him to do that. So he's a little bit lower on the hierarchy, but he's going to be a guy I target actually if I miss out on that top tier because he has that upside. He has that potential. He's an incredible scrambler, and it sounds like he's like fully healthy now after, kind of it takes like a year to fully come back and get like the confidence back as a runner and all that. And he's finally back, I think, to normal health, regular health. And
this is the year after the year after.
Right. So,
well,
the
year after the year after the year after.
No, didn't he get hurt 2023?
2022.
Is that right?
Oh,
yeah. Although he says, no, he did just say, wow, timing yesterday. Says he feels like it did before the ACL tear. He said that yesterday. He said now it feels like it's he said it's as close as it's going to get.
It's the year after the year after, Heifetz. No, you're right. It is. What the heck?
It's confusing because he came back halfway through 2023.
Fair. And also December 2022, this is the weird reason we talk about it, is tearing your ACL in December is different than September. And so he tore December, probably didn't get surgery till early January of 23. Yes. But he literally said, I'll read his words. Kyler Murray said Monday that his right knee was, quote, as close as it's going to get, end quote, to being back to completely healthy after tearing his ACL December 2022. So the point we say is it takes a while to get to feeling right, but that's what you want, is you want guys to feel like they did before.
Last season was the first full season he's played since the injury.
Yeah. So, and again, the big picture reason we have these guys in this group, and again, so it's Mahomes because he's not with Burrow, but then it's Kyler, Bo Nix, Fields. As long as the rules of fantasy are stupid and a rushing yard is worth more than it's almost 3 times more than a passing yard, I look at this group as supply and demand as much as anything else. I have after this a giant group of pocket passers we can talk about, but I'm like Bo Nix, Kyler Murray, Justin Fields. Those are just guys that could run for 10 touchdowns and no one would blink. And it's that simple. Like that is what it comes down to. And also we think there's passing upside too.
This is like
Nix and Kyler.
I think obviously Josh Allen's so valuable because he's a goal line converter. Kyler Murray actually rushed for more yards than Josh Allen last year, which I don't know if I realized that. You know what I mean? He's more of a scrambler. They're not doing as many designed rushes for him. But I mean, again, he's just one of those guys that has that upside, has that potential. If he really decides to like,
but are you going to take Kyler this year?
I would. I think if it was at the right price, I would.
But are you gonna?
Like, look, if you're in an auction draft and Josh Allen goes for $58 and I can get Kyler Murray for $30, yeah.
What, a 2 quarterback league, you mean?
Yeah, in a 2 quarterback league. Super flex. Whatever. I'm just saying.
I would take him in a 1 QB league too.
If you can get him for half the price.
Yeah. Like, who do you trust Justin Fields more than Kyler Murray?
No. Fields.
And they're like, Fields, right now, according to our ranks, we've got them like 12 apart.
Trust is not the word.
Spots,
so Fields,
like 1 round apart. I'd way rather have Murray.
Justin Fields, I have here. I've written down basically. I know he keeps saying this, but most rushing yards by a quarterback ever in a single season: Lamar Jackson 2019, Justin Fields 2022, Michael Vick 2006. Those are the 3 most ever. And again, upside with Fields is the rushing, and Tyrod Taylor, I don't think will supplant Justin Fields. He's going to play for them. And to me, it's really simple. I'm not ranking Justin Fields as like the 9th quarterback because I think he will average out as the 9th quarterback. It's supply and demand to me that Justin Fields is one of a handful of people that you think has a very obvious path to being like a top 5 quarterback. And there's very small amount of players that could do that. And small supply, I want to move him up because again, is Justin Fields going to outdo like Jared Goff? I don't know. But like if he does it, but if Justin Fields does outplay Jared Goff, it could be by a lot. But if Jared Goff outplays by Justin Fields, it'll be by little. And that's kind of as simple as it is. Because if you miss on Justin Fields, it doesn't really matter. And that, you know what I mean? But if you hit, it could matter a lot. And so it's a weird one. But anyway, so that's kind of how I feel about Kyler, Bo Nix, Fields. You can also argue Bo Nix is the most underrated guy in this whole tier. Because Bo Nix, frankly, there's overlapping biases. We're biased against seeing him as a rusher because he's white, boring, check down artist, unsexy, super senior. Like there's just overlapping reasons we want to ignore him. We didn't believe he should have been drafted as high as he was. I kept calling him Boomer Bo. I didn't like that he was old. I didn't like that a third of his college passes were behind the line of scrimmage. I didn't like that Sean Payton compared him to Patrick Mahomes when he took him in the draft. And yeah, like white dude, weird to think that, yeah, he's actually a great rusher. He's a really talented runner. And I didn't want to believe any of those things. And so you could very easily argue that Bo Nix is higher up rushing upside than Fields. better offense, and Sean Payton's his play designer instead of fucking Tanner Engstrand with the Jets. So you could very easily convince me Bo Nix should be the 5th quarterback.
I don't know if he has a higher rushing upside than Fields, but I agree with you
yeah, upside's the wrong term. Like, mean outcome is probably the right way to put it.
Yeah, Nick, see, this is why I'm like kind of okay getting a quarterback anywhere. I'm just going to wait until a guy becomes a value because I think in every tier, I can find a guy I really like. Bo Nix is one of them. Bo Nix, the first 2 weeks of the season, he was bad. He was a rookie. From week 3 on, he put up 20 fantasy points a game. That's like Jalen Hurts scored 21. He was 1 point behind Jalen Hurts, a rookie, Bo Nix. And they just added Evan Ingram, they bring RJ Harvey. This is the first year that Bo Nix has the same quarterbacks coach, offensive coordinator, and head coach since high school. I don't know. Great offensive line.
He had more passing touchdowns than Josh Allen.
Yeah, when we do the all boring team, I think Bo Nix has to be the quarterback for the all boring team. Like Bo Nix, I think Bo Nix is. If you're a Broncos fan, I would go get him.
There's going to be like, for me, I feel like I'm watching. There's a little bit of an element of like, I'm watching from the outside what Russell Wilson was for the Seahawks early in his career, where everyone was like, his defense props him up. His offensive line, his run game or whatever, like he's just perfect fit. He's just a scrambler. And like, he's just getting, he's not the reason that the Broncos are good. It's like, he's good because the Broncos are good kind of deal. Like, I feel like that's where I'm going to end up landing with him, with Bo Nix, whereas a lot of people were like that with Russell Wilson in the early part of his career. And I was like, well, Russell Wilson's awesome. What are you talking about? But yeah, there are those elements there where like his defense is awesome. Yeah, I think I saw a stat where, like when the Broncos are leading, his EPA is like really good, and when they're behind, it's like horrific. So it's like
he's a rookie quarterback.
propped up by his defense, propped up by whatever. But at the end of the day, he had more passing touchdowns than Josh Allen last year. He had 29, sixth most in the NFL.
Yeah.
And he runs.
If Caleb Williams last year threw for 29 touchdowns, 12 picks, ran for 400 yards and we'd be going
made
insane.
The playoffs.
Absolutely
Made the playoffs.
Yeah, we'd be losing our minds.
Basically, long story short, what I'm saying is I'm admitting my bias a little bit here.
Should we do a Freaky Friday where we pretend we read stat lines from a player and then actually it was from a different player?
Yeah, that's great. Because Caleb Williams, if Caleb Williams had Bo Nix's stat line, he'd be like the 5th quarterback off the board this year.
Oh my God! Caleb Williams, 29 touchdowns, 3,775 passing yards, which would probably be like top 3 in Bears history, honestly.
430 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns, made the playoffs. We'd be going nuts. Bo Nix, we're like, is he good? Yeah.
This guy's gonna be a problem.
We should.
Wait,
that's
so hold on.
Good.
What's the tier here? We got Kyler, Nix, Fields,
and Patrick Mahomes,
and you're not going to include anybody else in that tier.
I don't think so.
I'm going to read the next tier, and I want you guys to challenge me. This is controversial. I have in the next. So again, just to recap, the tiers so far, the top 4, we have Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, elite rushing quarterbacks. Tier 2 is just Joe Burrow, the best pocket passer. Tier 3, we have Mahomes, and then Kyler, Bo Nix, Justin Fields, guys who have high rushing upsides. Here is my tier 4. Which is, I called it pocket passers, choose your fighter. And you could rank these guys, I'm not shitting you, any order you want. I won't disagree, but here's the order I put them. I have Brock Purdy for the Niners, Baker Mayfield for the Bucks, Caleb Williams for the Bears, Jared Goff for the Lions, Justin Herbert for the Chargers, Drake May for the Patriots, Dak Prescott for the Cowboys, CJ Stroud for the Texans, Jordan Love for the Packers. I have 10 players in that tier. And I would love to hear the argument that those guys aren't all roughly the same, and it is just an order of how much you believe in them, their team, the offense, the situation, which is like, I think Brock Purdy should be the head of the tier, and I think Baker should be second. But you could tell me Dak Prescott should be the 13th quarterback or 18th. You could tell me Drake May should be 11th. I'll hear anything. But I have it as a giant glut. And that tier to me, frankly, informs my entire draft strategy this year to what Craig's saying, where I'm like, I just want the cheapest of any of these guys. Whoever's Dak falls to me, Jordan Love, I'll take any of these guys. I don't care.
It doesn't have to be the cheapest. When I see this tier, I'm like, the guy I like the most in this tier, you can get at a reasonable price. Yes. And I think that they offer like top 7 potential. Like to me, I really don't know what the difference is between Dak Prescott and Baker Mayfield going into this year. They're going to be ranked
100% agree.
Very far apart. Dak in 2023 was the QB4. Baker in 2024, the QB4. A great way to look at quarterbacks is and to see like regression, what their year looked like compared to what it normally is just look at touchdown rate, which is like what percentage of their throws were touchdowns. Baker Mayfield last year, 7.2 touchdown rate, which is extremely high. The league average is 4.5. Baker had not previously had a season over 5.3. He was 7.2 last year. Like just looking at that as like a natural regression point is a great way to kind of understand. And meanwhile, Dak Prescott had the lowest of his career last year. And prior to that was at an MVP level, and he was around 6% the 3 years before that. And so I'm like, I don't know. These are two teams with great passing options, with good offensive lines. I don't know why Baker Mayfield, who just had a career that's something he's never done before, should be so much higher than a guy like Dak Prescott, who kind of has done this multiple times.
The best analogy, and I'm stealing it, JJ Zachariason, who does great work at late round fantasy, and JJ Zachariason describes it as like a handicap. If Baker Mayfield had never thrown 30 touchdown passes in a season, 30, and then last year he throws 40, why would you expect him to throw 40? It's like if you're a 90 handicap in golf and you shoot an 80, you don't go out and expect to shoot an 80. You're probably going to expect to shoot a 90. So I'm going to go out and expect that Baker Mayfield's going to have about 30 or under touchdown passes. And it's that simple. But I totally agree. And I think the point you made, Craig, is I think my favorite, which is pick which one of these guys you believe in the most and go with that guy. So if you're like, I think the Niners are obviously a playoff team, way better. Like I believe the Niners this year, get Brock Purdy. If you think the Lions are being counted out, like take Jared Goff. If you think Drake May is the truth and the Patriots are going to make the playoffs under Vrabel and he's going to be so much better with Josh McDaniels, take Drake May. If you believe in Liam Cohen and the Jags, like I'd rather have Liam Cohen, who was Baker Mayfield's coordinator, with the Jags for half the price, take Trevor Lawrence. But it's very much choose your fighter. So with that said, DK, which of these guys do you want roughly at cost? Because there's, again, Purdy, Dak Prescott, Caleb Williams, Jared Goff, Drake May, Justin Herbert. Like, which of these guys, Jordan Love, Trevor Lawrence, who of these guys do you want to bet on roughly? Yeah, they're all roughly available.
This is really tough because so like while you were talking, I was kind of like formulating. We've talked about this a lot in the past, like the coward rankings or whatever, the non-cowardly rankings, where like if you really get down to brass tacks, what's the fucking difference between Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, Baker Mayfield, some of these other Jordan Love, CJ Stroud?
That's why I put him in a tier. I'm like,
what's it? But
CJ Stroud,
so I left out.
I left.
My point was, I left out Drake May, Caleb Williams, Trevor Lawrence, and Brock Purdy, because you just got done with a whole tier called guys that can run, right? We added Mahomes, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's Murray, Nix, Fields, and the reason they're ranked there, and Fields is kind of sticking out like a sore thumb here. The reason they're ranked here really is because they run, and in reality, like I would rather have a guy who can run over like, you know, trying to decide to play whack-a-mole over which one of those quarterbacks is going to pass for 35 touchdowns this year. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like maybe Baker Mayfield will do it. Maybe this year Justin Herbert will do it. Maybe it's Jared Goff. Maybe it's Jordan Love. I don't know. Like CJ Stroud. Maybe he'll have a great year. But most of these guys are wholly dependent on passing for a ton of yards and a ton of touchdowns. Whereas if you're chasing, if we're getting real honest here, I think I would rather have Caleb Williams or Brock Purdy or Trevor Lawrence, because these guys are rushing the way that they rush. And honestly, this is ridiculous, of course, but you could throw in Bryce Young, who scrambles a ton. These guys are rushing for 4 points, like they're averaging like 3 to 4 points a game just from running or scrambling.
Can I ask you a question then? I think that's a great point, DK. I like the way you put it, whack-a-mole. It's like maybe there's so many pocket passers, then like, well, what are actually the odds you pick the right one? Kind of low. But and that's the reason rushing quarterbacks change everything. It's not just that they score more points, it's that you know who's fast and who's not. So with that said,
so I think sorry to interrupt you, but real quick, it's like the reason we're ranking these guys in order is because we're cowards. We probably should just be ranking like we should probably be ranking these pocket passers like really late, and then anybody who can even remotely run like higher than them.
Well, I'm not going to call you because I agree. I'm
calling myself out. Later. I'm just like, I didn't have these rankings.
So here's my question though for you, Drake May. I have some Drake May rushing stats here if you want. Should we just put Drake May ranked 10th among quarterbacks? Because like to pull the curtain, everyone puts out their projections of here's how we think the season's going to go. And then you look at your projections and you apply like common sense, because projections are kind of like, what could happen, but then you also need to factor in ceiling and upside. Upside kind of matters more. And you apply context. and then also like what actually matters. But then you look, Drake May is being projected for somewhere between the 13th and 18th quarterback. But to what you're saying, the difference is we know he can run. So it's, you know how easy it is to pair Drake May with Jordan Love? You know how easy it is to pair Drake May with CJ Stroud? Pick your pocket passer, Goff.
Geno Smith, that's like undrafted.
So with the supply and demand of it, of like, we know that the odds of pocket passer between the 12th quarterback and the 23rd quarterback, the odds of picking the right one are like the same. It doesn't matter. With that said, should we actually just do supply and demand and put Drake May 10th, Caleb Williams 11th, and then all the pocket pass, and then Brock Purdy, even though he probably has better chances of beating them, he should probably be 12th.
Yeah. Probably. I mean, Drake May, he is by far my favorite late round guy to draft. I mean, he ran for 420 yards last year on one designed run. He basically just did that improvising and scrambling on a terrible team. And now he has a new offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniels, who was the offensive coordinator in New England with Cam Newton. They have both said that they wanted to recreate that style of rushing ability with Drake May. Cam Newton is Drake May's favorite quarterback. If you just extrapolate out when Drake May came in, him rushing for 420 yards in the games he played, that immediately extrapolates like 600, 700 yards. And if you start factoring in the use of him in the red zone, designing plays for him, 700 yards rushing and, 6 to 8 touchdowns immediately puts him in an elite tier of quarterback rushing. That's like Josh Allen is rushing for those yards every year, or maybe even less. So if you factor in the fact that Will Campbell comes in at left tackle, they did their best with the receiver room, which isn't that great, but it is improved. You have a better team. I mean, in terms of upside, Drake May might have 800 yards rushing this year and 9 touchdowns, and next year he will be one of the top 6 quarterbacks you draft because of his rushing floor.
And it's a little scary because you're talking about taking Drake May 90th, taking Drake May 100th, but the reality is, all right, you can get Jordan Love like 130th or something. Like, and if Drake May really sucks, and you know what, he's won one game in his career. Drake May starts like, all right, if Drake May really sucks and we overhyped him, like, all right, like you have Geno Smith off waivers, Tua,
take 2 guys down there,
and so I think just the supply and demand of it makes sense. It's just so I agree. I
think it's like. For our professional rankings, we're going to put the guys who have kind of scored around the same amount of points every year for their careers or whatever, because they're safe. Those are the floor picks. But if you're in a 1 quarterback league in particular, like those guys don't really help you that much. They're not going to win you your league.
No.
You want guys that are going to score 20 points a game. You know what I mean? And I mean, you could throw Caleb Williams into there. Obviously, he was horrific in his rookie year most of the time. And I had him on a team last year. He had, I think, 3 or 4 or 5 games where he scored over 20 points. He was awesome. But then he had a bunch of games where he scored like 7 or 5. And it was an absolute disaster. Obviously, you can't have that again. But if Ben Johnson is as good as we think he is, that floor is going to be raised for Caleb Williams in theory. And he could still have he already showed us that he has that upside. He rushed for almost 500 yards just because he was scrambling around so much. So these are the types of decisions I think you have to make if you're in that area, if you're shopping in that aisle for a quarterback, you can play whack-a-mole with CJ Stroud and Jared Goff and some of these pocket passers who could throw for 35, 40 touchdowns. Yes, they could. And they might end up scoring, but you have to pick the right one. And that can be kind of hard. And most of the time, these guys are probably not going to have still even the same type of upside as these rushing quarterbacks. So, again, Heifetz always decries, or what is it? You just like moan and hate the fact that like rushing is a cheat code or whatever in fantasy football.
We just need to figure out something.
You bemoan.
We shouldn't be arbitraging this. It's
but I mean, it's the reality. It is a cheat code, and so it's just so much better to have one of those guys that could score 25 points a game because he's running around scoring rushing touchdowns too.
I think, for league setups, my simple fix would be like rushing first down should probably worth half a point, but like it should just be lumped in with passing yards for quarterbacks. And like if you get the first down, cool. But like anyway, don't get me started. But overall, and this is maybe a bad analogy, and maybe I'll retire it, never use again. But I think overall pocket passers are like if you're hitting a baseball with a wooden bat when you're in a softball league, and maybe you're like, oh, I'm going to use a torpedo bat, or I'll use some other bat. It's like, you know what? You're probably going to hit where you hit. The rushing quarterbacks are like metal bats. And it's like if you connect, you can hit it so much further. But also, even weak contact is probably going to get you hit. Like Justin Fields, even weak contact for Justin Fields, even a light, like he's going to get you on base. And I think
a scramble situation where the protection completely breaks down. He ends up running around for 5 seconds. He picks up 8 yards on a scramble. It's a disaster of a play, or whatever. He picks up 3 yards on a scramble. It's a disaster of a play. That's still a positive play in fantasy. It's like so funny how that works.
So with that said, on my next tier here, which is the last person I would draft in a 1-quarterback league, is Anthony Richardson, who I think is a 1-man tier. Again, he probably sucks, might lose his job. I don't want to just repeat myself in every episode, but it's the quarterback tier episode. So I will just say, I think Anthony Richardson's the most obvious buy low, buy the dip player I've ever seen in fantasy football. This is a player that we talked ourselves into for the upside case, going as a top 60 player last year, purely for upside. He's fallen 140 spots, basically. He's undrafted, and yet all the upside is untouched, remains exactly the same. There's not one argument upside-wise for Anthony Richardson that we made last year that doesn't apply this year. The downside's different, but the downside's priced in. And that's the simplest thing I'll say. The downside for Anthony Richardson of, well, he might not play, and when he does play, he might suck, is why he's going undrafted. The upside is not priced in. And so I think the last pick of your drafts, as long as it's possible, should be Anthony Richardson. Because again, the week 1 test, if Anthony Richardson plays in week 1 and looks great for 1 half, you're going to feel so stupid for not picking him 17 times in a row.
Maybe one whole game. Maybe one.
Fine. All right. You know what? There.
I want to see him get through one whole game.
I need him to play a great entire game.
But that's why I like the week 1 test, because you know what? Maybe it's actually more like I actually need a quarter into like week 2.
Yeah.
Like I need Scott Hansen on Red Zone to come in and be like, look what Anthony Richardson just did. Career turnaround. And it's like him hitting Alec Pierce, but it's like week 2. And you're like, oh God, I didn't take that guy 17 times in a row because he was tired for 1 snap last year.
Just remember week 1 last year, he threw the greatest throw I saw the entire season.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, again, I know I sound like an idiot talking about Anthony Richardson, but I'm like, he's your last pick. How often do you hold on to your last pick?
Yeah. With the price, I completely agree. I agree.
And anyway, so I'm going to repeat myself over and over. I know people are probably gawking if they haven't heard me do this before, but it's just like, he has scored a rushing touchdown in 2/3 of his games, and he's undrafted. So anyway.
I think, by the way, and this is a perfect example of like what happens during the summer in fantasy football and like ADP, tracking ADPs. Like there was a couple weeks there where it was very obvious Daniel Jones is going to be the starter. Everyone's saying it basically as a fact. Daniel Jones he's going to be the starter for this team. Like he's going to be the starter. At the last week, that is completely flipped. Everything I've seen is like Anthony Richardson has been really good in practice, or at least surprisingly good, maybe put it that way. And now everyone's like, oh, Anthony Richardson, he's winning the job. Like he's going to start. And honestly, by the way, the Colts are very motivated for Anthony Richardson to be good, right? Like it's a huge, huge failure on their part if they have to start fucking Daniel Jones. Anthony Richardson, they really want Anthony Richardson to be good. And if he is even remotely slightly better than Daniel Jones, he's going to start.
DK, I wish I had harped on that more myself. Like Chris Ballard, the Colts GM, waited 5 years basically after Andrew Luck retired to draft a quarterback. And every year was like, well, when I draft a quarterback, it's going to be TikTok on my career. So I want to get the right one. Anthony Richardson being a flame out and Daniel Jones, who the Giants cut in the middle of last year, being their quarterback is a failure. And Chris Ballard will probably be fired at the end of the year if Daniel Jones actually has to play because Anthony Richardson's that bad. Like they need him to be good to save all their jobs. Their jobs do depend on him getting better. That is plan A.
I think Craig said this maybe a couple shows ago. He's like, no one's risen higher in the ranks without doing anything in the last few months than Daniel Jones. It's literally just not Anthony Richardson.
It's the epitome of like PR 101, just go away and
don't do anything and you're going to rise.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder. As a Giants fan, I heard everything everyone said about Daniel Jones. When that motherfucker was playing, no one would shut up about how much they hated watching Daniel Jones.
And this is what's happened.
Everyone loves him.
Training camp starts and all the beat writers are like, oh God, Daniel Jones is
that meme of the guy just pointing at himself on the couch like me. Just accidentally became important at my job.
Yeah. Dude, that's the opening line is super bad. You ever see Daniel Jones on his own?
Not for me.
Not for me.
So to bottom line, I don't think the Anthony Richardson hype is stupid, especially at the cost. Like he doesn't cost you that much.
It's all about the cost.
In my perfect draft, I am getting one of the top 4 quarterbacks. Look perfectly Josh Allen, but realistically Jalen Hurts in the 4th round. And I can get a couple receivers and a running back or something like Brock Bowers, like a crazy first 3 picks. And then I get Jalen Hurts. hammer running back, receiver, tight end. My last pick is Anthony Richardson. And I have Jalen Hurts and Anthony Richardson at quarterback with my 4th pick and my last pick. And I'm I'm going to win this fucking league.
That's sex right there. Yeah.
Yeah. That's my perfect draft. And then
what's the inverse of that? If you miss out on the first couple guys and someone just goes out of left field and takes Anthony Richardson and basically you're forced to take a middle of the pack quarterback. Which
Drake
one do you
May.
like the most?
Drake May, I would take.
Drake May, and then probably Justin Fields for Heifetz, right?
I like Justin Fields. The dislocated toe. I mean, maybe it doesn't matter.
God, that's tough. Yeah.
I keep thinking about how I'm like betting on the Jets and Justin Fields, and I'm like, is that stupid?
Yeah,
I also think
Drake May could be like awesome. Like we know
yeah.
Justin Fields is not awesome.
Yeah,
we know
and
that.
Fields got priced. Like you're betting.
It's a little problem. You're not any good.
You're betting on Fields to have a Darnold-like resurrection is the other end of it. And I'm like, Darnold had so much infrastructure. Like, ain't no Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and Hawkinson and offensive, like in New York like that, or Kevin O'Connell. And so I also just thought Fields would be priced differently. Like I kind of thought there was a chance Fields might go like 120th, which is at that point, like J.K. Dobbins, those are Javonte Williams is going above that. And I was like, but Justin Fields might go 90th or higher. And I'm like, at that point, I'm like, now I'm betting on the Jets. And I didn't want it. That wasn't my intention.
Heifetz, I mean, obviously, like I know that you've been saying this forever, but it is ringing true to me right now in this moment that it's funny that we spend all this time thinking about quarterbacks and in real life football, like guys like Justin Herbert, CJ Stroud. I don't know, like some of these pocket passers, Matt Stafford, for instance.
Yeah.
Like I would so much rather have one of these guys as my quarterback, my team,
my real life play football.
You know what I mean? God. Like I would be doing backflips if one of these guys was the starter for my team.
Of course.
And then, but like, meanwhile, we're talking about like, friggin' Anthony Richardson or whoever, these running quarterbacks.
Rushing.
Yeah. And I understand it. Like in this moment, I'm like, this is silly.
But it's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
It is.
It's
like kind of fun because it's so chaotic.
I think that I just think that you should be the missing piece in fantasy is you should be rewarded for first downs,
right?
And it would be for quarterbacks, yards and first down should be the same thing. Like it doesn't like they should just and it's if you're able to get it by rushing, that's sick. But you should be rewarded because you were not able to do it by passing. It's not worth more. Like that's insane. The point is you made something out of nothing. That's the value. Anyway, we don't have to have that argument now.
No, I know. I'm not trying to make that argument. I'm not trying to have that argument. I'm feeling in this moment. I understand you a little bit. I'm having some empathy for you. That being said,
I appreciate that.
It is still the reality. And this is why we're having this discussion.
The last tier I want to hit here is basically if you're in a super flex league, guys that I would classify as like really high end third quarterbacks or totally serviceable second quarterbacks, which is, I just put them all together. Tua, Michael Penix for the Falcons, Stafford for the Rams, Bryce Young for the Panthers, J.J. McCarthy for the Vikings, Geno Smith for the Raiders, Darnold for the Seahawks now, Cam Ward even for the Titans. Yeah. You could convince me in a different order. You could convince me J.J. McCarthy should be at the top of that tier. You could convince me Tua should be higher. I personally just don't. Tua led the league in passing yards a couple years ago and wasn't even that high in fantasy. But I think McCarthy, Geno, you can convince me of these guys. But I'm like, if that's your third guy, you're cooking. And if that's your second guy, I think you're fine. And so in Superflex, I'm happy with all those guys. And basically, if you have like Daniel Jones, Joe Flacco, or Tyler Shuck, then like as playing for you should waltz into the fucking sea. Personally.
Who do you think? Who do you think in this list?
Sea?
Who do you think if one of these guys was the QB 9 at the end of the season? Who is it?
McCarthy plays 80% as well as Darnold, but it runs more. That would be my pick. Like McCarthy actually runs for like 6 touchdowns.
Cam Ward? He kind of sticks out to me because of the out of control through the stratosphere dog levels with him. Just love him. And I feel like they're going to put a lot on him. You know what I mean? Like from day one, he's going to get to do a lot of stuff. And so I think maybe there's a world in which he has kind of like a Bo Nix rookie year.
Oh, wait. Sorry, there's another guy. Hello, Michael Penix Jr. for the Falcons.
That's what I was going to say.
That's
yeah. There's a chance that Penix goes full Jameis, throws like 35 touchdowns, 18 picks, and they're just like scoring a zillion points in shootouts every day in the NFC South. And it's just like fantasy points galore. I
agree. Because I think Stafford for the Rams, like obviously Stafford could be great. And Geno too, but I think the Raiders ultimately are going to want to run the ball. But yeah, I look at Penix. Penix is just going to, I just think he's going to air it out, man. I think Penix is just going to fucking hit dingers. So
I want to see what did Jameis in 2019, the famous 30-30 year, he was the QB8.
And Mike Evans and Chris Godwin were both top 5 receivers.
Picks.
30 for 30.
30 picks.
I think that might go down. That might never happen again. I think that might go down. That might be one of those records, like the interception records are never going to get touched ever again.
So
like there's
funny.
guys with 60 picks in their career, which will never happen again. Okay. Before we go to some dumb emails and other stuff, any other parting thoughts on quarterbacks? I think so. Those are basically our themes. Is like having a sick fantasy quarterback is really fun, and like get a good one if you can. But also, it's a very deep and varied year at quarterback. So you can kind of, I think what we're saying is you can be picky and get guys you want, or you can be selective and get guys you think are values. Like you can hold out for value or rushing upside if that's what you want. And like,
it's a year I would say you don't need to reach. Just take the guy you want when he seems like he's a good value.
I think that's a good way to put it. And if you have an opinion, like I think the Packers are underrated this year.
Yeah.
Cool. Like go get Jordan Love. And if you don't really have an opinion, like, or Dak Prescott's a good example. If you believe in Dak, cool, go get him. But if you don't have an opinion, probably just go get a rushing quarterback. Call it a day.
Did you guys?
You're gonna sleep a lot better at night having
Jaden
Daniels on at your quarterback spot.
Have like Lamar Jackson could just be on your team. Like I just do that.
Did you guys see the video today of Will Johnson, the cornerback rookie guarding Marvin Harrison?
No,
I missed it.
He like throws Marvin Harrison to the ground, and it was a huge ick, and I'm worried.
So what are you saying?
This
Marvin
was like a day after,
legs, not his arms.
Like Marvin Harrison just added 15 pounds of muscle and got tossed like the hockey player throwing that guy on the golf course.
No.
Craig, you got. I'll send you the video. There's another video circulating yesterday that was Marvin Harrison, like one hand catch, back shoulder,
I saw that.
awesome play. It's like you can have 50 compliments and one insult. You're like, fuck.
Well, the only thing
like
you think about. Yeah.
But Marvin Harrison arms getting bigger, like with the biceps thing. The one thing about it that freaks me out is that we really were onto something when we were like, it's bad that Will Levis was ripped.
Yeah, too ripped.
Like that's bad because it's like that. None of the quarterbacks, like that's not. Those muscles just don't help you throw a football. Like everything's about limber play. If you ever listen to anything Tom Brady's ever said, all the quarterbacks are getting. It's more about like
flexibility, pliability,
flexibility. And it was weird that Levis did that. Similarly, like. If you're an NFL athlete, biceps are like purely vain. Like I mean, your legs, your legs are doing everything
on this.
The only quarterback who is truly like ripped is Jalen Hurts. Even like Lamar's not like yoked.
But
Josh Allen is not.
Well, he got kind of yoked this last year.
Squat 600 pounds. Yeah, it's not his arms; it's his fucking legs. And it's like Marvin Harrison. Like honestly, my armchair psychology. That's probably inappropriate for me to say. I just think he's insecure. Like I think that he's like deep down embarrassed that Marvin Harrison had a bad year when every other draft pick, Brock Bowers, Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors, Lad McConkey, they were all so much better than him. I think he's embarrassed. And so he's like, oh, I'm going to get swole. And it's like, why are your arms big? You're a receiver.
I know. And nobody was like, Marvin Harrison's too small. That was not a critique.
No. But I think it's like
he played kind of small last year, though.
Yeah. It's getting,
but that's up here, DK.
Oh,
it's true.
Okay.
I mean,
but when guys add weight, it's because they were either told their body's breaking down or whatever, like, hey, you need to get stronger. Or sometimes they're just like, you physically were getting bodied and they're like embarrassed by it. And they're like, I got to get larger. But if you want to get faster, I don't know. I'm a little worried. That's all.
Heifetz, I was a little offended that you didn't mention Aaron Rodgers, last year's QB 18.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I that's an error. Rodgers is in the group with Daniel Jones, Flacco, and Tyler Shuck of, I'm sorry. No, I'll put him next to Cam Ward.
Rodgers, let's see. Last year, scored better than Matthew Stafford, CJ Stroud, Drake May, Bryce Young, Trevor Lawrence, Dak Prescott, Anthony Richardson, Caleb Williams.
Shut up, Craig.
Cool. If you won your fantasy league with Aaron Rodgers last year, email us over your fantasyfootball@gmail.com.
Anyway. Emails.
I think after talking this through, I have less clarity on everything than before.
Okay.
It is just, it's a funny position.
All right. So toe rankings. We had a conversation because Justin Fields dislocated his toe. We started talking about which toe is the most important. Well, big toe obviously is number one. We were like, what are after
big toe is the clear 101.
Well, like the tier between second and 5, it's like we don't know how to rank them. So this we got an email or Blue Sky post from Andrew
Drewski,
who labeled himself the official
A-bone.
podiatrist of the pod.
Okay.
Which,
Sure.
I mean, I guess
It wasn't taken for the record.
if this is a good
Yeah,
email, it's yours.
Andrew came out, dude, talk about sentence origami, something that's never been said before. Andrew said, having amputated more toes in central Pennsylvania than anyone.
Gee. Sometimes it's really funny to think about people like our listeners, like it's like part of our family. Like someone in our family has amputated a lot of toes. They're
Way
just
more
cutting
than
off-
anyone
They're
in
fucking
central
cutting off
Pennsylvania.
toes over here.
Central PA toe
Send this guy a belt.
Somebody I know is cutting off a lot of toes.
Yeah.
So Andrew
Benevolently, by the way.
says, having amputated,
They have to come off.
We don't know.
Well,
having
probably.
amputated more toes in central Pennsylvania than anyone. My official toe importance ranking is, what do you guys think it is?
I think it's 1, 2, 3. Fuck. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
No.
I thought it was 1, 2, 3, 5, 4.
I saw this. I saw this
Oh.
blue sky or whatever.
So he
Sorry,
says it is 1, 5, 2, 3, 4.
pinky number 2.
I told you, DK, the pinky is important.
Bullshit. I was robbed.
1, 5, 2, 3, 4.
Does this go regulation size or what?
So he says
Better
you
luck
can
next year.
I don't believe you. The toe? The
He
pinky
says
toe?
you can lose your fourth toe and forget about it in a month. And again, this is your
I
big
mean,
toe
that kind of
being
does
one.
make sense. Yeah.
second
I never
toe
have
being
like once thought about my fourth toe.
I don't even know what the name of it is.
Ring toe,
Ring toe.
Ring toe?
which sounds like a disease.
It
It
does
does.
sound like a
Ringworm.
Because you got,
Ugh, I got a
big
ring toe on my back.
pinky toe, you got a middle toe. The second, I don't know what the second one's called. Is that a name?
No.
Mm, pointer toe? Is your big toe your thumb? Technically?
Yeah, I think it's got to be.
That's weird to
Yeah.
think about.
Sometimes that pointer toe is longer than the big toe on some feet, and
Yeah,
sometimes
it's called a
it's
classic foot. I got that.
A classic foot? As
Where
a-
the mi-
what-
the
what
middle
are
toe is
freak
longer
show
than the big
foot
toe?
for the other people?
Yeah.
not. My big toe was longer than any other toe.
You say
Mm.
was?
Is.
Oh.
Unless Andrew gets a hold of it.
Yeah, keep away from Andrew. Dr. Drew over here.
DK,
You
what
just got
about
a
you?
jar of toes like I, Happy Gilmore.
Is your big toe the longest?
toe though?
Got that bastard's toe though.
I
DK, is your big toe longer or is the middle toe longer?
can't remember. I think
My
look
second-
right now.
You can't remember?
Look at
I'm
your
gonna
foot.
take
What
my
do your
shoe
feet
and
look like?
Okay, hold on one second.
Your second toe. Oh, God.
I'm not gonna put it on camera.
Do
that costs
it.
money.
Do it.
That's gonna cost you.
Foot on.
My big toe is longer.
It is concerning you didn't know that.
I couldn't
can't believe
remember.
You didn't know that.
You can't-
I told you
My
I never
second toe's
want.
long.
I feel like Happy's caddy.
Wait,
No,
Andrew.
that's just because you're only wearing one shoe.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
He eats the cracker.
got one
Takes
shoe
the
on.
quarter.
That guy's great. That guy's in a lot of Adam Sandler movies. That guy's in Big
Ugh.
Daddy. Andrew, I have a question for Andrew. What did you call it, Heifetz? What's your foot called?
Classic foot.
Classic foot?
That's what my grandmother told me it was. Maybe she was just.
Andrew, email us back. Which foot design is more conducive for athletic activities?
Oh God.
Or does it matter? Like, does that have to do anything with
Yeah.
running? Does it help balance? I'm curious.
I do want to. I feel like we don't know that much about. Well, not we. I don't know that much about feet. My feet. I don't know. I have very flat feet.
You do. You got wood planks down there.
I do. Yeah.
He's running on 2x4s.
Just clop, clop, clop.
My brother and his wife. They call them potatoes.
You got those Jesus sandals down there.
Dude, I actually. Fun fact. Back when I lived in LA, we did ringer pickup. Shout out to Richie Bozek.
yeah.
Who
Richie's
had
good.
Richie's good. Ringer pickup was annoying because everyone like tall. Everyone was like 6'2", 6'3", and could shoot, which is like sucks. But I'm 5'10" and unathletic. But I actually once stopped.
It was annoying. Everyone was tall.
I once stopped a Richie Bozek fast break because I was like 20 feet behind him, but I was running. And my footsteps were so loud,
The
clopping
thundering.
down the court. that he thought I was like way closer than I was with the layup and tried to like switch
You're
under
throwing the
basket.
sound with your feet.
I was like at the 3-point line. He thought I was gonna fucking LeBron Iguodala him.
You know how in Monty Python they like when they're running around they like make the little clop noise with like the coconuts.
Yes, that's me. That's me running. Can hear me coming. Oh my God.
Heifetz. Every time I cannot get enough Heifetz basketball stories. There's nothing better in the world.
If we were still doing it today, we would definitely put it on YouTube. It would be like a live stream every time we play.
I think it took me a long time to realize that I just kind of really took the football lineman DNA and just played basketball.
He couldn't play in a league with refs because he'd foul out in 5 minutes.
Well, you know when I had to fill into the ringer league with refs, right? Have I told the story of the show?
I think so, but let's hear it again.
Would you go full bounty gate on somebody and then get ejected?
No, well, basically,
who's offering Heifetz the $20 per foul?
Zach Cram comes up to me one day. I think I was still an intern. Zach Cram comes up to me one day and just says, "Do you have basketball shoes?" And it didn't. Do you play basketball? I was like, "Do you have shoes?" Yeah. I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "So we had a league, whatever." And he's like, 4 people can come today. Only we don't have 5 people. And he's like, "If we don't have a 5th person, we forfeit. And if we forfeit this game, the season's over." So I was like, oh my God, I just have to show up and play or else the season's over, which is crazy. Then I learned it's a church league and you get a tech if you curse.
Can't swear.
So if you curse, so if I curse twice, the season is over for the team.
Yeah.
So, and then I actually made a 3 on my first shot. And then I just, it was a law firm. They had a guy who was 6'8" and I just elbowed him in the kidneys till he called me a motherfucker and I got him ejected and we won.
You're like Lance Stevenson.
I pissed him off.
You're like Lance Stevenson blowing in LeBron's ear.
Literally, that was all I had. So I got about halfway through and they didn't have any other height. We won.
That's useful. Every team needs one of those guys.
Dude, I was like, I'm just trying not to. I literally was like, I made my first shot. I was like, I am not shooting again and just don't get ejected. Get this guy ejected and we will win. And I did my job.
What kind of basketball shoes were you wearing?
Good. Oh my God. Do you want to know? Oh my God.
Chuck Taylor's.
Ectio, a now defunct brand for people with multiple ankle sprains that is like a ankle brace built, literally the most loser basketball shoes. And I had ankle braces built into my shoes. Oh, it's defunct. Ektio. If those people are listening, please make them again. The most old man thing about me is I bought when they went out of business, I bought 4 of these because I was going to wear them the rest of my life.
Oh, I think they're Canadian.
They had ankle braces built in. Well,
this looks like something Michael J. Fox is wearing in Back to the Future.
Yeah, they do. They look like space shoes.
Dude, shout out to Ectio.
This is so funny that you were wearing these. Of course. Of course you were.
Dude, shout out Ectio. Dude, they were incredible. They were great. Obviously limited market. They super went out of business.
Do you still have them?
I have 3 brand new
pairs. You don't throw away
I bought 5
like
when they went out of business.
Do you still hooping every now and then or no?
No, the pandemic, I just golf. I don't know. I probably played pickup basketball 2 or 3 times the last 5 years. I haven't played really since, but I golf and tennis now.
I'm still playing in a league with some ex-ringer guys and other dudes. I still play with Colin, Jackson.
Nice.
My fear is I feel like I'm too old now to just go and just get my shot back. But
I don't think so. You're not. I mean,
no. But my shot has rusted. I actually would be.
But I feel like your shot is the one thing that you can get back as you age.
Right. You can't get you never get your wind back. Pal.
If you went to the gym for 3 months and just shot around a bunch, you would get your shot back.
But that's the thing. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go either work out or I'm going to play golf.
He's going to go once every 6 months.
Right. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not going to just go and shoot basketball.
His touch is going to be.
You do lose it quickly. Like me going to Italy, I basically stopped playing for 3-4 weeks, came back and was completely cold.
Oh yeah, you lose it. I completely vouch for that. You lose it within a week.
So fast.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And I don't exactly have the kind of game where if someone's just oh, he can't shoot, then I'm kind of fucked because I'm a rebounder who's 5'10", which on the wrong court is slow. I can't.
I bet you can box out with the best of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just get low.
Low man
you play big.
Just box them out into the stands.
But I can't dribble. And I'm short, so if I can't box out and rebound, nothing's worth. Again, the ringer thing where it's everyone's 6'3" and can shoot. Everyone's just 3 and D in this bitch, and everyone has a handle. And I'm if I can't shoot, then I'm I'm just fouling. I'm the enforcer. And
the only thing you could do is get other people ejected.
Yeah, Lance Stevenson. Yeah, and I'm what's he? Is he play? He's probably playing.
You kind of have Rodman's skill set.
Yeah,
I would say. It's rebounds and getting other people ejected.
I was over here, and I do this.
God.
And I can't. What's your wingspan? Do you know?
Do you know your wingspan?
Yeah.
I don't know my wingspan.
When did you get your wingspan measured?
I feel like dudes, like when you're bored, you're of course measuring your wingspan. That's the most like
This
guys.
is a Spotify poll. I do not know my wingspan.
Oh, really? I think high school athletes who play basketball, every single one knows their wingspan.
I did that. I don't
Let's
know.
do a poll. Like, if through the poll, do you off the top of your head know your wingspan?
If you play sports, if you like have never played a sport in your life, then I don't think
I played football in high school. Like I mean,
I played basketball in high
center,
school, Craig, and I don't know my wingspan.
Oh wow, I'd be curious.
But I played.
Well, actually, no,
I
it's like
was
the league neighbors. It's like
a whole different era
7
than
inches.
Yeah, 7 inches.
A yard? How long is that? Okay. Another email here. Oh, Jonathan just emailed in to say that he broke his toe the day before he listened to the show and kind of realized it was broken, like listening to the show.
Oh,
John,
interesting.
Johnny.
So did he get it fixed?
Johnny No Toes. That's what we call him.
Mike. Johnny No Toes.
I got to hear more about this guy that's cutting off toes.
Yeah. Email us back about the official podiatrist of the pod. You're the official amputator of the pod.
Are people just getting like frostbite hunting and stuff, or what's the deal here?
And there's a lot of reasons.
That's what I want to know.
Amputated.
I mean, that's going to be the punishment for the Ringer Fantasy League. To cut a toe off.
Okay.
It's like Mr. Deeds with the foot.
Yeah.
It's just black.
Yeah. Oh no, 2 more emails I want to read. This one's from James.
Jimmy.
We're just talking about
Jimmy.
We just talked Jimmy. Jimmy.
James.
We were talking about Aaron Donald workouts and how Jared Verse literally tried to lie to get out of an Aaron Donald workout. And then James emailed in and he sent this video. I forgot about this, but Matt Stafford went on the Kelsey podcast. I forget when. And Matt Stafford told the story about Aaron Donald. And basically a Make-A-Wish kid. Make-A-Wish came to the Rams and said, we have a Make-A-Wish kid who just wants to work out with Aaron Donald. And Aaron Donald invites him to the workout at the facility. And Aaron Donald works the Make-A-Wish kid so hard that Matt Stafford walks by and the Make-A-Wish kid is just puking in the trash can.
No way.
He got his wish. Wow.
Careful what you wish for, kid.
This is what a workout's like.
How old was the kid? It'd be funny if he was like 9.
It's funnier if he was like 8, but I think he was like,
Sure,
16.
16.
I think he was a high school football player, which
really
is less funny.
Yeah,
But I would love the idea of a 7-year-old working out with Aaron Donald just throwing up.
And like Puka Nacua and Jared Verse also puking.
Yeah, Puka Nacua is like, did you also have Jack in the Box for breakfast?
I mean, have you ever gone to a workout class with a friend like who always goes to the class and you've never been? That shit is the hardest thing to pick up and join in on
Big
one
time.
day.
Yeah, like
Craig, I was thinking that same thing just now. I was like, the closest I've gotten to puking in the last like decade was I went to a workout with my buddy at this gym that he goes to, and it was, I don't remember, it was like the final part of the workout where they do like a whole circuit. You have to come in, you like do like 100 push-ups or whatever it is. You go run, and then you come back and you do like another thing and you run. And I was by the end, I was like, I'm gonna fucking die.
Yeah, dude. I went to a Soul Cycle once. I've only been one time in my life. Kicked my ass. It was so hard.
So I quit.
I feel like speaking of high school, I feel like the first like real workout, your first like 2 days and stuff, you end up puking if you're not in shape. But also the other one, honestly, the other one is just like yoga, where I can't even get it. Like the poses go so fucking fast, and I'm like, I am so out of my depth right now. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I took Pilates in high school. I mean, in college.
Okay,
it's
so I thought
somewhat
I
similar
thought I
to
knew
yoga,
what Pilates
right?
was, and I don't think I have any idea what Pilates was.
It's like if yoga was harder.
So is Pilates like the one where you're on a machine?
There's 2 types. There's body Pilates, and then there's that type where you're on I forget what the name of it is, like a reformer or something. And there's
a reformer,
yeah.
I actually didn't know that's what Pilates. I thought Pilates was a branch of yoga.
A reformer?
I didn't realize it was a medieval torture contraption.
Yeah. It's like you are essentially
you're in an
just
iron lung,
contorting yourself with resistance bands and like.
I was impressed when I saw it on Veep and was like, "What's this?" And then I saw videos. I think Monmouth St. Brown. It was like pro athletes being like, "I can't do this," which is always gets my attention.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah,
because it's all like it's all resistance, which is so difficult.
Yeah.
Reformer. This looks like a new age. This looks like they laid a Nordic track on the ground, and you have to do everything horizontal.
Oh my god! Email us if you do reformer Pilates and why you do that to yourself.
Do you guys know what a Nordic track is, by the way?
I think
I just thought you were talking about like the Olympics.
No, go Google Nordic track. It was a whole thing in like the 1990s and 80s.
A Nordic track?
Yeah.
You mean like
a
Stairmaster?
Hold on.
No, I see what you're talking about.
What
are these things?
A treadmill?
It's a contraption. No, hold on. Some of the pics that come up aren't right. I'm
kind of
sending this
looks
to the
like
chat.
a elliptical machine, like the first elliptical machine ever made.
It's got a bunch of wires. Yeah.
Oh my God, this looks so medieval. This looks like my podcast arm boom.
It's like basically it's emulating cross country skiing. So you're using the handheld things. You got like your stomach up against the pad, and it's essentially like you're using the hands as with your poles or whatever.
I am obsessed with like 80s and 90s workout machines.
Craig, if you go on Craigslist right now, there will be probably like 30 Nordic tracks available on the side of the street
Craig's birthday gift
in Los Angeles.
You know the ones where
birthday's coming up. Should we get him a Nordic track?
You know the ones where your like legs swing back and forth. You're like
those are the
air,
ellipticals. Yeah.
But it's like it's weirder. I don't know. And then there's a bike one where you're biking, but you're also moving back and forth with your arms, like you're doing rows and biking at the same time.
Dude,
they were great.
Aerobics like craze of the 80s and 90s was so fun.
Death machines.
Email us if you have fun Nordic track stories or a Nordic track in Los Angeles you want to see.
And
Craig
they were advertising them on infomercials. Remember those things? You guys might not.
No.
Billy Mays, like you wake up in the middle of the night and there's like Billy Mays talking about OxyClean. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Slapping the tape on the outside of the
slap chop. The slap chop. Cutting the vegetables.
That guy, that boat, but he's just like, we built it with tape.
Oh yeah, flex tape. What's that called?
Flex tape.
Is it flex tape?
Damn.
I've bought a few things off of infomercials before.
Sham Wow.
Yeah.
Sham Wow. Shake weight.
Shake weight was a big one.
Shake weight. Shake weight's maybe the funniest one of all.
Email us if you have any infomercial stories. We have 2 more emails here. I don't know. We're running.
Oh, let's get to them. Sorry, my bad.
What do you want to do?
No, go ahead.
All
At least do one.
So we talked about the name Storm Duck last episode.
Yeah.
And Craig did the thing of, people whose name, you meet the parents. Well, we got an email from someone who said my name's similarly ridiculous. This email is from, first name Chess.
Chess?
Chess?
Yes, like the game. So his name is Chess Necessary.
How do you spell necessary?
Like the word.
Oh,
why is this
the
last
chess,
name necessary?
Chess Necessary.
He hangs out with Ed Policy.
Chess Necessary.
The necessary policy law.
Imagine if they were a law firm. Necessary Policy.
The Chess Necessary. Good God.
Chess Necessary. And
what
he
a
says,
sick name. That sounds awesome. Chess Necessary is such a cool name.
Well, so his middle name is Michael.
Oh, come on.
He said the fact that Storm Duck's middle name is Chandler really resonated with
him.
Yeah.
It's like, really, Mom and Dad?
Chess
You couldn't have
Michael
swapped those?
Necessary.
I couldn't have been Chandler Storm Duck?
I just can't get over the fact that his last name is Necessary.
Chess Necessary. Necessary.
Necessary. I'm
Googling
Necessary. How many people with the last name Necessary?
Necessary. That sounds like a movie character in like an old Lethal Weapon movie. Chess Necessary.
Just thought that was incredible.
That's
Chess Necessary. As of 2000, Necessary was the 23,922nd most common surname. There's like less than 1,000 people.
I think I found Chess Necessary because I can't imagine there's many. I think I found him on LinkedIn.
We're gonna check the Google like stats.
I won't out him, but I think I got him.
You won't out him? I think everyone's going to be able to find him.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Is that him? Lexington, Kentucky?
I think there's only one. It looks like a nice guy.
He's got a good job. National Security Business Development Lead.
I feel like we maybe shouldn't be saying all this online, but that's fine.
It's on LinkedIn. It's public.
I found his Instagram. Doesn't follow me, by the way. Kind of rude.
Okay, Chess.
God.
Chess Necessary.
Chess Necessary. Unbelievable.
Oh, it looks like he got married. Congrats.
Congrats, Chess.
Mrs. Necessary.
Found a queen.
Oh.
All right.
Well played, Heifetz. Not really, but kind of.
No, it was pretty poorly played. I'm playing checkers over here. All right. Thank you, DK. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Kai. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Chess.
Thank you to Chess. Unbelievable.
What are his siblings' named? That's what I want to know.
Oh my God. Yeah, Chess.
Follow up.
Let us know. Thank you to Chess. Thank you to Chess's parents. Thank you to Storm Duck. Thank you to quarterbacks. Thank you to everyone who lets me get Jalen Hurts in fantasy this year. Thank you to Anthony Richardson for making me look smart for once in my life, hopefully. Thank you, everyone. Email us at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com. Our rankings are at fantasyfootball.theringer.com. Follow us at Ringer Fantasy on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, baby. Ringer Fantasy Football. We have a YouTube channel now. Go and subscribe. Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Skilo.
Nope.
No?
Couldn't guess I couldn't even fathom, I guess.
Skilo?
You don't know about Skilo? I wish I was a little bit taller. Wish I was a baller.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, of course.
That's what I
it's ski like ski ball. Okay, yeah. No, actually.
Was he a one-hit wonder?
Yeah, pretty much, I'd say.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at his. Yeah, that's the only thing he ever charted, really.
I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller.
I mean, iconic song.
I mean, it's like tough because I'm looking at his Wikipedia, like top chart positions, and it's like 10 songs. And I wish that song is the only one that has the blue link means that song is its own.
Right.
You know, it's the only one that has a page. It's kind of how you know.
So, yes, one hit wonder.
Where did that come from? Oh, because the ski thing.
What?
I was kind of like, how did you think of that? And then I realized it was the Nordic track.
Oh, that's how?
No, I was thinking of you playing basketball with all the talls.
Oh, like low?
No, you.
Oh, I wish I was taller.
You wish you were a little taller because you're playing against all the 6'2" shooters from the Ringer.
Got it. Well, you're also just all lanky. Like everyone's got length too. Everyone's got wingspan. No one Craig measures his wingspan. He's got long fucking arms.
Yeah. Craig is kind of. Craig's all legs.
I am. I'm all limbs. I'm just
lanky mother.
I'm all tentacles.
When Craig sits in a chair, it just looks like it was built for like someone 500 years ago. You know what I mean? Like when they were all short.
The lyrics?
Because they were all malnourished.
I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. The next line, I wish I had a girl who looked good. I would call her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wish you had a rabbit.
I wish I had a rabbit in a hat with a bat and a 6'4" Impala.
Impaler.
Is a rabbit a metaphor for something? Is that like a slang, or is he just wants a bunny?
I don't get that. Why does he want a rabbit in a hat? Is that like a magician thing so he can be taller?
Yeah.
I wish I was like 6'9".
Because then I could get with Yoshi.
Yeah. Because she
don't know me, but she's really fine.
Keep going.
Yeah, you're cooking.
Wait, give me a hint. What's the next?
Because she don't know me, but she really fine. You know I see her all the time.
I don't know what's next.
Everywhere I go, and even in my dreams, I can scheme of ways to make her mine.
Yeah, great song. I don't think I could do the entire lyrics. I could do like the first couple bars, whatever. But
I don't know. Like in the writer's room, you're like, all right, what is the second line? I wish I had a girl who looked good. I would call her.
Well, he was a one-hit wonder, Craig.
He had one line.
Maybe writing wasn't, his calling.
Yeah. Put together a sick beat. Words don't matter.
If anyone knows Skilo,
I wish.
Email us. Thank you, Lauren.
You already did that.
Fuck, did I? Fuck.
We're talking about Skilo.
Right. I meant goodbye, everyone. It's been a long day. I don't know. Fuck.
That was good.
Shit. Goodbye, everyone.